Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grandi, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel and the Dragon Suplex Podcasting Network. What a week it's been in wrestling. What a week it will be. I'm going to AEW Dynamite. That's why I'm hitting you guys a little early this week, because I'm just going to sit back and be a fan and enjoy my time at AEW Dynamite. My two favorites of all time are wrestling in front of my eyes. It's going to be crazy. Are they teaming, CM Punk Sting teaming with Darby Allin versus FTR and MJF main event in the Greensboro Coliseum. Pretty excited about it. I'm also pretty excited about all this NFL going on. 2 games on a Monday, not in the first few weeks. This is pretty cool, but I hope the world doesn't go to shit before I can go to that AEW Dynamite show. After that, I'm cool. Let's lock it down again. Let's get healthy again. I don't know. But, man, AEW Dynamite, Greensboro Coliseum on Wednesday, I'm pretty excited about. And if we can just get there, I'm cool. That's my Christmas this year, guys. I'm actually looking forward to that more so than Christmas. So all we need to do is just get there, and then I'll see the family. Then I'll take a big sigh of relief. I won't go to the bar anymore. I'll just stick to running. It's probably more healthier anyways. We can close up shop. I'm just kidding. I hope everyone takes proper precaution out there, and I think everyone will, and I think we can get through this together, guys. It's wintertime again. We're going to get to springtime in 2022. I did want to talk about the biggest heels, and not just pro wrestling, but in the world right now, the Island Boys. They're, red hot tag team who were in the rap game, but it seems like they're stepping over to the sports entertainment celebrity boxing realm, if you will. They were on Logan Paul's show. Logan Paul, of course, getting ready for his exhibition fight with Mike Tyson. And let's not forget, he also appeared at WrestleMania this year, so it's kind of wrestling related a little bit here, enough for me to want to talk about it, because I think it's pretty interesting about how people are seeing these guys and how you can maybe take it on to pro wrestling. And then we're going to be talking about Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, lots of other stuff here. He had the Island Boys on. I guess there was a co-host of the show, George Jacko. I've never heard of this man before, but he was trying to compliment the Island Boys, and he said something about how you've made it this far, you could just sell your jewelry if you guys fall off. And I guess the young rappers, 20 years old, don't really, I think it might have freaked them out, if you will. They didn't see like an upward trajectory to this. They thought more, this man who was thinking he was helping them out, more business-minded, kind of came across as if he was doubting them, and they did not like that. And I think the Florida lingo and the California lingo got kind of tangled up because, they would say, do you want to go this route? Meaning, do you want to go this route in the conversation? California lingo heard it a little differently. They ended up storming off. They kind of came back, kept arguing, and then Logan Paul stood up, pulled rank, and kicked them off of his podcast. This was good. This was not necessarily, Roddy Piper with a coconut, but this was pretty good segment to go into the arena the next night. Island Boys showing up for Jake Paul, Logan Paul's brother's fight. They show up, and immediately, people throw drinks at them. People throw just different food at them. It looks like these guys threw the shit first, but the Island Boys were not taking kindly to it. They were standing up. They were fighting back. They were saying, all kinds of expletives that you wouldn't usually hear in a wrestling promo. They end up getting kicked out, or they end up leaving, I guess, because, these guys have nothing to lose, where the Island Boys, could beat up a fan and that would look bad, or they could get beat up and that would look bad. So I think their people pulled them out. As they were leaving, another person tried to fight them, which is pretty ridiculous. This shows liquid heat with this fan base, with this, pop culture, social media, celebrity boxing form of sports entertainment, which I find pretty damn interesting, because there's a lot of old-time wrestling fans, if you will, that talk shit about AEW. They talk shit about the new style of wrestling. They want it to be more like a sport, but then they don't pay attention to this either, where this is absolutely pro wrestling to me. Before the big main event, you did like kind of a big segment like you would on Raw with the Island Boys showing up. That went better than you thought it would because, you ended up going viral. Literally almost everyone in this like 15,000 seat arena in Tampa, Florida was filming this. You don't really need to put it on TNT or USA. We're seeing the success of GCW work without a television show, and we're seeing the success of this work without a weekly television show. This is way more sports entertainment than I would say a lot, or sports entertainment with a hint of actual sport realism, which I enjoy. And I think that if you're kind of an old wrestling fan who's kind of getting jaded, start watching this stuff, and I think you could, looking at it from that mindset, you can appreciate it a little more. And these guys know they're heels. They know about it. They like it. Before they walked off the Logan Paul show or got kicked off, however you'd like to see it, they said that, when they were at the arena performing, the headline said, like, Island Boys get booed out the stadium, where they said they didn't hear boos. And that's what Logan Paul agreed. He didn't really hear any boos either, so that they're thinking they're getting kind of put in that heel ring. But they also said, you can make fun of me, you can love me, it's awesome if you hate me. So that sounds like a heel fucking line right there, pulled right out of the 20-minute opening monologue that is the first few minutes of Raw every week. I thought that was a pretty good line. And then Logan Paul asked him to expand, and he says the haters are just like their fans. They keep tabs on them, so they know their position in it, and they know that they just want the public eye, which they're getting the public eye. 20-year-old kids, they say that where they're from, how they're dressed is normal and all that, which is pretty wild to hear. But of course, the main event, when they left and everything, we did get Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. Paul coming out to YMCA. Of course, he's selling out arenas. He's trying to make it like a minor league hockey team, or even an NHL or NBA team doing the YMCA. Crowd gets kind of into it. Woodley looks calm. Paul looks excited. Round one, fuck Jake Paul chance. So he's getting heat too, but he's in the main event. Paul looks like he's ready to go. He won round one. Round two, it looks like it went to Paul as well. Round three, fuck Jake Paul chance, fill the air. Paul bleeding, and it looks like Woodley attacked him a little more, was on the aggressive side, and I would also give that round to Woodley as well. Round four, Woodley kind of suplexed Paul, which got the crowd going again, but I do think despite that, Woodley still won. Ref pulled them apart. Round 5 could have gone either way. Round 6, 52 seconds to go. Boom! Woodley gets fucking dropped. Crowd goes crazy. I didn't hear any boos to coin a phrase from the Island Boys. When Jake Paul won, everyone jumped up. Jake Paul has heat, but he has eyeballs as well. If you're a fan of MJF on AEW, but some other stuff can get too cartoony, start following this stuff because, it's pretty silly. It's pretty sports-based. Jake getting his hand raised, looking into the camera, saying, "What now?" Telling everyone to shush. He says that Ariel Helwani interviews him, and he told him, he was getting his own self tied up. I told you I was going to knock him the fuck out, and I knocked him the fuck out. Crowd going crazy. He calls Tommy Fury a bitch. That's got to be who's next. I thought the Jake Paul was going to get knocked out. I thought this was it. But, that's kind of the charm of this, is everyone keeps expecting him to get knocked out, but he keeps winning. And just like old school pro wrestling, there's people that are paying attention that aren't buying it. They're showing you how it's rigged. They're pausing it at certain times. They're saying that, Tyron Woodley dropped his hand and then Jake Paul just knocked him out. I don't buy that. But I think these combat sports trends happen in pop culture. Like in the 80s, it was WWF. In the 90s, it was definitely WWF with WCW, like that Monday Night Wars. 2000 UFC. 2010s, I think, was the rise of the indies, what we know as AEW now. And I think in the 2020s, the roaring 20s, if you will, it's going to be the celebrity boxing stuff. People seem to not be able to put their finger on it, like Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter was a wash. Evander Holyfield was kind of a wash, but Jake Paul seems to have his finger on it. He is just as good of a talker as Miz and MJF, and he's pissing people off because it seems like he can back it up with a 5-0 record. Some people are calling bullshit. I don't know. It's not definitive, but that's what makes it fun. that's what keeps it kind of pro wrestling. And, you can make fun of the Island Boys, you can make fun of Jake Paul, but when it comes to it, they never disappoint. The Island Boys are either cracking you up with their dumb freestyles or getting into fights with, people that are about to fight, Mike Tyson and things like that. And then Jake Paul always just knocks out an older quasi-celebrity, which is kind of what he always promises. So as much as you might hate him, you're paying attention, and he delivers. Something that I don't think delivered, though, is New Japan against Noah, the third night of Wrestle Kingdom. They brand it Wrestle Kingdom. They don't brand it, I forget the name of the show they do after New Year's Dash. They didn't brand it New Year's. If this was a New Year's Dash card, it'd be amazing. They branded Wrestle Kingdom. So, I was thinking we were going to get Wrestle Kingdom caliber matches, but it's mainly tag matches. Let me run down the card a little bit. I'll bring up some highlights. I'll bring up some lowlights, but like I said, mostly just tag matches. Tag matches on tag matches. Like the second match here, Nagata, Kojima, Tenzan teaming up against Saito, Tani, and Muhammad Vaughn. So that's going to be just like the old timers get into it. Gato and Ishimori are teaming with Yoshiaka and Hayata. That might be okay. You have El Desperado. He's always good. And then you got these 10-man tags, and it just keeps going into tag matches and tag matches and tag matches, like 10-man tags. The main event is vacant. We'll see who goes in there. We'll see who gets announced later. We'll see who's the world champion after the first two nights. That kind of stuff intrigues me. The first two nights, we're going to get a legitimate champion out of the three people who are vying for that championship. But this third night is Wrestle Kingdom in Wrestle Kingdom's name only. And just like I said, like the 2010s, the rise of the independents. I think New Japan helped out with that greatly. But they helped out because they were doing something different, doing something that wasn't as boring as a bunch of tag matches, calling it a Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, like I love New Japan, I love AEW, but when you watch these celebrity boxing fights, it feels like it's got that big fight feel attached to it. It's got that sports-like quality to it that a lot of people who are maybe not enjoying AEW as much as I would miss that sports-like element. And I think a boxing match brings that sports-like element, brings that big fight feel. People go to it and treat it like a sport rather than treating it like theater. So I think maybe people who were fans of like Mid-Atlantic might enjoy that just as much as watching AEW, then tuning into podcasts and then complaining in the comments. But I don't know. Have fun however you like it. I certainly enjoy it. I want to see someone train the Island Boys. I want to see Island Boys versus Young Bucks. I want to see the Paul brothers versus the Hardy Boys. You can blend it in, especially if he gets knocked out. I think once Jake Paul gets knocked out, the whole thing is going to deflate, fly around like a balloon. That's going to be entertaining in and of itself, but I think they're going to wind up in pro wrestling, much like in the 2010s you saw a lot of people who were in the trendy thing of UFC at that time, or the 2000s, you saw Cain Velasquez, you saw Ronda Rousey, and then by the time it was wrapping up in 2020, 2019, we had also seen them in WWE. So I think they're going to end up in WWE. We're going to watch this thing for a few years, but once Jake Paul gets knocked out, they're going to still be celebrities, and they're going to have to get their money through sports entertainment, and that's when they're going to show up and maybe do some mid-card comedy stuff, maybe even get the tag titles in WWE. I can see it, guys. I can see it. I know I sound crazy. Let me know how crazy I am in the comments below. But that's not the only stuff I watched this week. I also watched AEW Rampage. It was pretty good. I love this. It wasn't the best AEW Rampage I've ever seen, but I think that Texas crowd had already seen the most amazing thing they were going to see, and they knew it. So to fill it with some 10-man tags, some fun matches, that's the best way to go about it. Super Elite with Bobby Fish, Best Friends with Rocky Romero, double Forever clotheslines with Rocky and Cassidy. You gotta love how Cassidy just goes nonchalant as people are running around him. Yuta did it a few weeks ago, and now Rocky Romero is doing it. I cracked up both times. Orange hits an amazing dive. Trent does his big move. I called it the awful waffle, but that's Chuck Taylor's big move. 1, 2, 3. They get the victory. Dan Lambert coming out. Good to see him again. Speaking of heat from, as another sport coming in, like UFC coming in here, this was great. Cody comes out. He'd seen enough. He attacks him, but, Dustin comes out. They both get attacked by Men of the Year. Maybe they're going that route, but Cody Rhodes is going to face Sammy Guevara first. And Sammy Guevara comes in for the save and then gives Cody the middle finger. I like that. He says, I'm a good guy, but I don't like Cody just like you guys don't like Cody. Big pop. Penelope Ford versus Conti submissions match. Anna Jay and Bunny at ringside. Lots of ladies looking lovely out here, wrestling well. Bunny jumps on the apron. Anna Jay comes in. She's seen enough. She keeps her at bay. Lethal combination from Ford, and then she just hangs on there, keeping the headlock applied. I thought that was cool in a submissions match scenario. But Conti comes on, chokes Ford out. Bunny does leave Conti laying with the brass knucks, but after she had already gotten the submission victory from Penelope Ford, they announced the Owen Hart tournament. It's going to be men's and women's. I wish it was round robin. I heard on Post Wrestling they were like, we wish it could be something different than just single elimination tournaments. And I would have to agree with that. Maybe they could do something a little more fun with this, but it doesn't look like they're doing it. However, tournaments are always fun. I always enjoy tournaments in pro wrestling. Keep filling up with tournaments. Do tournaments over and over again. They're very easy to keep up with. It makes you care about matches you wouldn't usually care about. So I'm still a fan of tournaments. We get the Mark Henry split screen that we all know and love. 2.0, Garcia and the Acclaimed versus Kingston, Lucha Brothers, Santana and Ortiz. Freestyle gets cut short. He makes a joke about CIA and JFK, and then they get attacked on the ramp. Phoenix tries to hit a spinning crossbody, but overshoots him just like Dante Martin was overshooting the hell out of MJF. He overshoots him, but his knee collides with Garcia's face, which is kind of a lot more brutal than just a crossbody. So I don't know what these guys are doing. Maybe Phoenix is scared to lose his spot. He's going crazy too, but they're both overshooting their opponents, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Garcia rolls up Kingston, kind of steals 1, 2, 3, gets the victory on Kingston. And then all the heels jump Kingston after the match, hitting him with a boombox, Jurassic Express, Christian Cage run out, and make this save. I said on Twitter, it upset a few people, but I enjoyed it, that Marco Stunt getting traded for Christian Cage is the upgrade of the year. Let me know what you guys think is the upgrade of the year in the comments below. Fly high. I'm out. Merry happy to everybody.